So I got it like a 19-piece drum set here, and there's 16 microphones on it. And I got Ableton Live open here, and I'm gonna set up a template on the ability to be able to do live looping with it with this little controller here. Check this out. Okay, so we're in Ableton Live here. I've just got one track in here with the vocal. So we need to add a bunch of tracks. Insert one, and then we gotta duplicate it 15 times. Make sure it's selected. So it'll be 17 total. Then you go back and we gotta name them all. This will probably be fast forwarded, this section, because there's a lot of tracks. But we need to do bass drum and bass drum. I think that's it. Okay, there's all the tracks. Just for the drums, the audio. So I want to group all those. Rename that drums. Okay, and then I need to set up some buses. So we add 4 more audio tracks. Five. I always screw that up. And then you group those. Drum buses. Okay, and then one more, actually 2 more tracks in our sends area. One will be for parallel processing with the Arouser plugin, which is the emulation of Empirical Labs Distressor. And then a monitor for headphones, because sometimes if you're playing, you don't want to monitor the drums because you don't need to, because you're sitting right on top of them. Okay, now got to do panning and levels and routing. Let's see. I think the buses need to be monitored, but you don't need any input. So actually you can multiple select these. No input. And then kit is going to go to the master. Everything else is going to go to the kit. That looks good. They don't have any inputs yet, so that's why you can't mess with the monitoring. So now we go bass drums. snare. Four overheads. Front can just go to the kit. Okay, now you can turn the monitoring on for all these. So that's the busing structure. Still got to do panning and levels. Okay, and then for running them to the arouser plugin over here that I still need to add, bass drum. Let's see, that is C. About 3/4 for the bass, 3/4 for the snare. And then also the reverb. Now there's a stock reverb here, but I've kind of been messing with SSL stuff for a bit, so I've got some presets already made for all this stuff. So I'll turn this one off. And it's a flex verb. Very customizable reverb. And then for the arouser, I have that plugin right here. So it's distressor, like the distressor. It's made from Empirical Labs. And then I have a channel strip. I use the SSL channel strip on all the channels. BDN. So there you go. Okay, that's for that. Each channel has a strip. And then the kit gets a couple plugins. It gets one of these. This is a Flex EQ. I would say it's similar to like the Fab filter. You can do mid-side, all kinds of stuff with it, parallel processing. Roll off the low end and just dump the mud and add a little bit of higher. Bus compressor. That looks pretty good. Then the last thing I put on the kit is a little bit of distortion. So I use the black box, and I just turn it on. I don't even mess with anything. Just running it through this just does a lot. And you need to turn it down a little bit because it really heats it up. Okay, the master. All that I usually do, and on the headphones one, is I like to put a lightweight limiter on those. So we'll just use the stock limiter that they have. Put the ceiling at -1. And the same thing on the headphones. So what's nice about this is that when I'm playing, I can monitor through, and I set this up. Let's see, I'm 5/6 on those, and then I usually do 3/4 for monitoring and on the cue out. So now the click and everything else is going out through the headphones, but since this is a send, I have to send stuff to it. So I'll send the drum bus not too loud so that I can still hear the click. Okay, the next thing to do is to set up the Midi controls. So I'm gonna close up some stuff to get some more room. Then you hit the Midi button, and all of the record arms. First we'll do the click. Click the click. That's my click. And then the record arm is next. And for that, I use this button. Once again, the tedious part. Okay, and then you have to do the same thing with the launch buttons, which are the little play buttons here. And I use this pad because it's the closest to the rest of the drums. So if the track's armed, it'll record everything, and if you disarm it and then you go up the scenes, it'll launch the whole drum scene. Okay, let me just make sure everything is where it needs to be, because there's a lot of tracks. Okay, that click. And then also the scene up and down buttons, which are over here. And that's about it. Everything's armed. And then also, if you look here, it's all recording. So all the microphones are recording. So there's 17 tracks with effects, recording, monitoring, and I don't think I couldn't do it without a Thunderbolt interface. Okay, one other thing that you need to make sure is that all of your audio is being routed to the tracks. So for my setup, I have the Quantum and 2 DP88s. So I have everything labeled, so I don't have to, it's pretty easy. It's when you've got this many tracks, you almost have to do it that way, or else you'll lose your mind. So for this, we have BDN. More stuff. Okay, one thing that I am going to do is collapse these, because once you get things rolling, it's a lot easier to go using your controllers, and then that way you don't have to mess with the mouse or mess with a keyboard. That's why part of the fun is. Okay, we're going to try this.